This is the 2.7 notes video about direct variation. So the first thing about direct variation is if something is proportional or there is direct variation as a graph, it will be linear and it will pass through the origin, 0, 0. Direct variation is when you have two variables and both increase at the same time or both decrease at the same time. For instance, you get paid by the hour. If you work more hours, your hours go up, your pay goes up. Directly variated, both increasing. If you think about the weight of a bucket, if the amount of water in the bucket decreases, then the weight of the bucket decreases too. Those are directly proportional. So before we get into identifying different variables, we're just going to say X and Y are directly proportional and solve for some unknown variable. So if Y is directly proportional to X, that means as Y goes up, X goes up. If they're directly proportional and Y is 18 when X is 3, what is the value of Y when X is 4? So they give us an X and a Y that are proportional, and they want us to find Y when X is 4. So we can set up a proportion to solve these. We're just going to put Y over X. And if they're proportional, then these will be equal to each other because Y divided by X will simplify to be whatever Y over X is over here. So they tell us Y is 18 when X is 3. So I'm going to plug in, these two are on the same side, 18 over 3. Then I plugged in X is 4, so I got to put it in the denominator just like this X, and the unknown is Y. So 18 to 3 is the same as Y to 4. Now I can cross multiply and divide to solve. So I'm going to do 18 times 4 and Y times 3. I'm just putting that X to make it show you that I'm cross multiplying. So 18 times 4 is 72, and 3 times Y is 3Y. From here, if I'm solving for Y, I just have to divide both sides by 3. And I'm going to get Y equals 24. And then to check that and see if I'm correct, all I have to do is plug 24 back into the original and see if it ends up equaling. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So I know I'm right. So go ahead and pause the video and try number 2 on your own. Pause it and I'll work it out here in a second. Should have got Y equals 28. So they told us Y is 16 when X is 4. So the important thing is you have to make sure if Y is in the numerator here, then on the right side, Y is in the numerator. The X's are on the bottom. If you flipped it, if you did 4 over 16, that's okay. You just have to make sure it's 7 over Y, and then cross multiply and divide, you'll get the same exact answer. Then of course, plug it back in to see if it works. 27 divided by 8, or I'm sorry, 28 divided by 7 is 4, just like 16 over 4 is 4. So the next two examples, instead of saying X and Y, we're actually going to identify what the variable is. So we've got the number of miles a car is driven is directly proportionate to the number of gallons of gas used. And there are two variables. Instead of X and Y, we have the number of miles driven and we have the number of gallons of gas used. If you want to, you can say miles is X, gallons is Y, or you can just write out miles and gallons. So a car uses 8 gallons of gasoline to travel 290 miles. How much gasoline will the car use to travel 400 miles? So they gave us gallons and miles related. Then they asked for gallons, but gave us miles. So first off, just write your proportion how you want to write it out. So I'm going to put miles in the numerator. and I'm gonna write gallons in the denominator. You could flip it if you want. You just have to be consistent on the left side and the right side of the equal sign. So here, if I have miles in the numerator, I know when they went 290 miles, they used 8 gallons. So I've got 290 over 8 is equal to 400 miles over how many gallons of gasoline? It's unknown. So 400, and we'll just say that's X. Then we'll cross multiply. So 290 times X, and then 400 times 8 is 3,200. Divide both sides by 290. And we're going to get our answer of X equals 3,200 divided by 290 is 11.03. 11.03 gallons. We need to make sure we use the units here because they've given us units. So our answer is 11.03 gallons. So again, make sure miles is on top, gallons is on the bottom, gallons is on the bottom. Or flip it, do miles and miles on top, but gallons and gallons on the bottom. Either way, as long as you're consistent on both sides. Pause it now and try number 4. I'll work it out. So here they told us the wages for 5 hours is $29.75. So 29 relates to 5, 29.75 over 5. I have wages on top, so I need wages on the top over here. They want to know how much will they get. So what are the wages for 30 hours? So hours in the denominator, hours in the denominator. Cross multiply, then we divide both by 5, and we get the wages to be $178.50 for 30 hours.